Welcome to a short tutorial on how to create a web map in QGIS. In this tutorial, I will add data to QGIS. We will open the attribute table, look at those attributes that exist. Then we'll select features based on attribute using an expression. Then export the selected features. We will style those. Then install some plugins in order to add a base map. And then also finally export our map to a web map. So in QGIS, you can create favorites, or you can just browse here on the left in your browser to find your data. And so here is the data that's provided. And these are flight paths between airports. To look at the attribute table, I right-click on the layer here, open attribute table. We can see that the data has some columns that are likely of interest. Starting from the right, the country of the airport, call signs, some codes. But what's interesting and connects these lines is the source and destination of the flights. And these are airport codes. As well, there's the company that's doing that flight. So for this exercise, I'm interested in all the flights that go to or from Luxembourg. And the code for Luxembourg is LUX. So I will create an expression, a selection expression, using this tool here, which is a yellow box with a epsilon symbol. Now, syntax is important here, but it's a lot easier to get syntax right if you click. So I will do half of it by clicking and half of it just manually by typing. These are the fields and values, and so I can see that I want the source equal to, and then I can search for Luxembourg. Here we go. And double click. Mistake there. There, so notice the double quotes for the field name and the single quotes for the variable. Now I want to select source or destination. So I will add or, and then destination equals, so paying attention to the single double quotes. It gives me a preview saying the first one will return 0, which means not selected. This is fine. I select features, and in the background here, I can see that 61 matching features have been selected. I will close. Now you don't necessarily see the features here, but if I zoom in a little bit, I can see them hidden behind all the massive green lines. I can close the attributes. Now these are selected, I want to export them. I go save features as. When you're exporting data, I recommend that you stop using Esri's shapefile, start using GeoPackage generally. For this course, because we're creating web maps, we're going to be using a lot of GeoJSON, so I would just recommend GeoJSON for here. We need to provide a file name. I will just go with Lux flights. You can leave the coordinate reference system as is, but what's really important is that we save only the selected features, otherwise it'll just export everything. Then you can hit OK. Now we can see that the correct data is showing up. We'll remove the other layer, right-clicking, and remove layer. Now, for our web map, we don't just want this data, we also want a base map. And to do that, we need some plugins. So we'll go up to here to plugins, manage the plugins, and we're looking for two plugins, Quick Map Services. Quick Map Services here, check. Okay. Reinstall the plugin. And then the other one is Web to QGIS to Web. And seems like some of my checkboxes are not showing up for some reason. those have been installed. So I can go ahead up here, go Web, Quick Map Services, OpenStreetMap, and add a base map. Now I'd like to style the flights data a little bit. And here we have symbology. So by double clicking, I get to the properties. Symbology. We don't want one symbol for everything. We want to categorize it, and we want to categorize it based on airline company, which I believe is actually name to make it better. I will make sure you hit the classify button to actually have this show up. I'm going to remove this empty set. We have all the airlines that fly out of Lux Airport. Maybe I want to make the lines a little bit thicker or something. And that's something you can do. Like, again, this is an iterative process. 0.5. Try that. It applies it to all of them. Okay. There we go. So there's definitely some changes could make, or I'd recommend for making a nice map, but for now, this is good enough. And let's move to exporting this as a web map. Don't worry about the projection or lack of projection in this case. This isn't an issue for us in this case. We will then use the QGIS 2 web plugin. So here, it's also visible in your toolbar here. But create web map. Now, you can activate pop-ups to appear by default. But you can disable it or enable it as you wish. You can have the labels showing up for the columns. It's not super pretty, but you know, if you're wanting to provide that information, it's worthwhile. We have the two layers here, so the Lux Flights and OSM. Both are going to be exported. You can use different libraries. So we've talked a little bit about this in previous lessons. There's different libraries that exist for showing content. You just choose whichever you'd like, really. Maybe you find one works better than the other. I'm a big fan of Leaflet, so I will try that. Make sure you select a folder to export to. And then just hit export. The update preview is good just to make sure it works as you expected. But then just hit export, and it should pop up in a browser window. It has for me here, and it works. So that's it. You should be able to now create a web map from QGIS relatively easily. Of course, I recommend you to customize things a little bit more. Thank you.